What got me into youth ministry is goes all the way back to when I was in high school. I was plugged in an academy. I had a number of people that were investing in me and a community that was pouring their love onto me. So now I look at youth ministry, I want to give back to the students that I get to work with and get to do ministry with. At the beginning of the year, 2022, I was praying and thinking about an initiative because May was coming up, and May is a focus where it was all on mental health. It's a mental health emphasis, and was thinking about it, asking questions with friends and people, and what to do. I just felt impressed that we should do as an initiative for the youth and the families, because there have been a lot of conversations that have taken place regarding the youth and their just mental health in general, but also where they're heading. And I thought it was important for us to have, or at least to start and be that part of the conversation and start the dialogue. I've been noticing that there hasn't been much space about mental health conversation in our churches, so I want to be part of that movement who starts that conversation and dialogue and creating those safe spaces for our church, specifically here, to be able to dialogue about mental health and why that matters, why each person's wholeness matters to Jesus, including their feelings. So Blue Ministry is a ministry for young women ages 12 to 18 that was started by my wife, really. She had a burden to work with and to minister to young women, and I basically just get out of the way.
Bloom Talk brings up certain topics that I feel like aren't easy to talk about, and when I was at Bloom, I felt comfortable with sharing how I felt about certain things, and they just make you feel like you can be open without being judged. And it's also an amazing way to connect with different girls. I feel like that's hard sometimes.
We have a guitar class that runs a couple times a month on a Thursday, and it's a chance for the students and I to come together. It's a weekly touch point, but also it's a chance for us to just learn worship songs together and worship. I'm passionate about music, and I'm passionate about leaning onto our generation, the next generation, to develop their skills and to tap onto their musical talents. It's important also that they understand that worship doesn't just happen for every week on an hour or two, but it's something that they can be developing all throughout the week. It definitely is very heartwarming because I see a lot of talent in this church and a lot of our students, and perhaps there are more that we still have yet to discover.
In 2020, obviously COVID happened, but when COVID happened and church completely stopped, it didn't really help that much. And I was 10 years old, so it's not like I had such a close connection with God as the older people did. My only connection with God was church and Bible class at the time. Later on in 2020, they decided to continue Pathfinders again, but on Zoom. And it was terrible at first, but as time moved on, it started to become more and more like Pathfinders, even though we all knew it wasn't. There's still the feeling there. And during that time, I started to become closer and closer with God. The Pathfinders completely just changed my path and guided me closer to God instead of further and further away from God.
Our Pathfinder ministry is a strong club ministry. It has been and continues to be. It's not even something I can take credit for. I'm so thankful and grateful for our directors and our counselors and all of our leaders who are involved, who are pouring out their energy and effort to love on our students. I'm just excited to see what God is going to do with the Pathfinder ministry and grow and reach new heights.
The biggest impact for me is what was VBS. Just because my experience with youth ministry was really new at the time. like I was just becoming a freshman, and then I got the opportunity to play bass, and we had a really great time. Like, we were jamming out, and the kids were so enthusiastic, and they were really like in it, and they're like super excited to be there. And it was really like a reminder, like, this is still like growing, like this is still something that like can be like new and exciting, and like you can like have fun with it, because I think that like sometimes, like as teenagers we kind of get bored with it, like kind of like fall asleep, during Sabbath school and stuff. But VBS was it's like a wake up call.
I'm a big believer that there is a story behind every dollar. So when you give to the Vision in Action, you're not only contributing to youth ministries, but you're making an investment to the next generation of leaders in our church. Your contribution ensures these safe spaces for our students to encounter God, to discover their God-given purpose, and to grow spiritually in every way. Every dollar counts. And none of this would be possible without you. So thank you for your continued support and prayers.